So first of all, since Selena was the one who said about the sound, happy birthday, Selena. It's her birthday today.
Happy birthday, Selena.
Serendipity that our first show is on your birthday.
So that's really great in a way that we are getting to connect with the people, reconnect, I would say. But the thing is that nothing really changed. And I always said that we are coming back. And I've been really banging on about this one, that we are coming back. But it didn't really happen because one thing I kept on saying, that there will be things that's coming up and it would keep me really busy. And it's quite overwhelming to a certain extent. And Esther got busy in her own way. She's doing a master's. And also she is doing, in graphics design. So
I've got my own company with graphic design. So that in itself has brought a lot of extra work. And so basically, if I may, so since April, what happened? It wasn't so much that we went off a different way. It's basically since last year, we've had a 5-year plan, as it were. And part of that is actually getting trained ourselves on the subject that very much are closely connected to knowing who you are. And, when you start a new activity, then, things, have to be reorganized and whatever else. And we didn't just start one, we started many. And also, on top of that, you had your training in the Royal Navy, which really started which as a side is also happening.
Yeah, my work, my studies.
Yeah, it's all just coming together. But all us coming back is also part of this plan. And the idea is to do as many lives as we can. Sometimes it will be just him. Me.
So that's what I wanted to add, because live stream wise, what the plan would be, probably we'll do it fortnightly, but Sundays at 3:00 in the afternoon. And since Esther she has been engaged, and this is one of the reasons what I was mentioning about, or we're talking about, when I was totally muted and you couldn't hear me. The plan was initially when we started doing live streams, there had been things that she started doing, and during the Sundays, that was her time as well. So there had been times when she couldn't join me. And when she didn't join me, since we had started doing the live stream together, I thought if she's not joining, then probably I shouldn't do it. And that's how we drifted off a little bit. Yeah. But we are back now. So the plan is sometimes you'll see me just capturing the whole of the camera. Sometimes we're sharing the space together. So, but whatever that is, it's all about connecting with people. And there are a lot of recordings already in the can, and I've interviewed people, but big apologies to them, because I've done interviews, someone in Canada, the interview's there. I have half edited it. I couldn't get the time, but I'm trying to settle in the new schedule, and now hopefully things would get better for me, so we can do it better. And there are a lot of people joining in.
It's comments everywhere.
Yeah.
So we have Selena, of course. You were number one, and you're there. We see you. Syra's there. Hey, Sajjad is there as well. Hi, Sajjad. One of the busiest men in Bangladesh.
Yusuf is there too.
Yusuf, hi Yusuf.
We'd like to talk to as many of you possible today. If you can give us a call, that'd be nice. Having said that, if you need any, do you need any reminder in terms of what our names are? I'm just thinking, because they haven't seen us for such a long time.
Yay,
so that's
are.
us. For anyone new who's watching, it is Ershad and Esther.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rhythm Hassan from America.
Great.
He's a musician himself. Thank you.
Fabulous. Welcome.
And having said, in terms of now, you know our names as well. Lloyd has been reminded.
We're so rusty. This is fun. Hey, Neha.
Yeah, great.
Oh, she's there.
So it's really lovely. And I felt that Sundays, probably at 3:00 in the afternoon, is pretty much okay for most of the people. And especially in London, because it's raining, it's not summer anymore. People are not in a rush to go out and do their own things.
Plus, we're now in a time where Bangladesh can actually join in. If you see, we've got Esha's here as well.
Esha from Bangladesh. Lovely to see you. So there are a lot of things happening. We will talk about slowly, but few of the things that I've been doing, say, for example, I got busy with study, work and training. Esther is full on into study mode too. But things that I love to do, I kept on doing anyway. But probably most of all, I've been studying and reading, just reading on its own, which is not directly related to my subject, but I've been doing it a lot as well. So that's a nice thing. And I will talk about some different ideas, books and things that I'm finding it really interesting, and different things that I'm talking about as well. So it might be helpful and we can start a conversation on that. So everyone can probably start by updating. It's quite a few. How many months there since April, if we talk about?
May, June, July, August, September, October. It's been 6 months.
6 months. My God, half a year. Really? It went so fast.
It went so fast.
Really?
So much has happened.
Okay, now it makes sense. I can understand why I forgot some of the things in my own studio, that how I used to connect to this.
I know. You've not spent as much time in here
No,
either.
I was studying in the other room, and here I've been practicing a lot, but not really as much as I normally would like to do. And on top of that, please let us know what have you been doing, what is new in your life. Because one thing I understood, despite all the crazy schedule and everything that's been happening in life and the idea of this fast productivity and everything, we made sure of one thing about mindfulness, in terms of how we would be mindful about our own well-being despite everything else. And Esther had been really helpful in that regard, because there had been times when I literally felt like, oh my God, I have just created a monster in terms of the schedule that I put myself into. And it was really hard. But thankfully, I feel now, okay, I have settled in that new schedule, and which you've been mentioning about for a long time. Wow. Enamul Haq, what about you guys? Hello. Yeah, we are doing great. And Enamul Haq is Eshad's dad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was sort of looking at my phone. I just bombed everyone's phone with a message saying that
that's
we're live.
great.
That's why.
It's lovely to see many people.
I know.
Minhaz is there, Minhazul Khan. I'm at work, but still trying to watch.
Oh,
you remember him from?
I do.
Tell me.
I do. I don't remember. I know the name.
From the airport.
Of course. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I saw a great post from him this morning. He won another football trophy.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
He's done great.
It's really nice to see people when anyone is getting back to the idea of keeping yourself healthy.
Yeah.
Because mindfulness we talk about, but if you're not physically healthy, diet is an important thing, which I would talk about, because it's a very interesting topic, especially with Asian background. You would know, since you're living with me now for over 2 years. Yeah, we are living together. I mean, now as a husband and wife together. So day in, day out work, I mean, coming in and out. So we see each other and in close proximity. So you see what I'm doing and what I'm like when it comes to food. So we value our food.
I definitely have put on some weight as a result of the wonderful food. We've even done another trip to Bangladesh in between, which he was actually extremely... Minazo was very helpful with. Oh my God, we were at the airport and he happened to be there, and he happened to be able to fast track us.
Emirates.
Amazing.
So
amazing.
It was with Emirates, right?
Yeah, it was Emirates.
Yeah, Emirates.
We were all on time and it was all fine, but it was just still such an
he made it so easy. So anyone, if you see Minhazul Khan at the airport at Heathrow,
you'll be fine.
You'll be fine. Yeah, he will help you out. Yeah. So he's the man. Thank you very much. You remember me. Definitely. Your hospitality in Bangladesh when we were there, a great time.
I mean, they're family.
Enamul Haq, Enam Bhai, we call him, and then his daughter, Esha, and then his wife. Basically, he shouldn't be, I mean, I just said Enam Bhai, but basically he should be uncle, how he's related.
Okay.
Yeah, through Neha and Mimo. Yes. That's Mimo's uncle.
Right. Okay.
So nice to see you guys. And as I was saying, please let us know, because I know Yusuf Abraham, who's there at the moment and who commented, who said hi. He launched his own podcast, which is Urdu Voice. I think he can correct me with the long name, but he does a nice podcast about Urdu poetry, Urdu culture and music. And he interviews people in Pakistan, and he does it from London. And I had been very fortunate that we had worked together. There was a performance which I had done in South Bank Center, and Yusuf was there with me. He was reciting. But then when he's starting up this podcast thing, I had he asked me for some suggestions in terms of the technical issues. Mm-hmm. And now he has such a beautiful setup. And when I heard his voice the other day, I was listening on Apple Podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he has such a radio-ready voice.
Oh, absolutely.
So it came out so nice. And I was talking to him. London Urdu voice, exactly.
Yeah.
So if you guys have time, find it. And it's really nice. And if you're interested in Urdu poetry, and he is really professional when you listen to him. It was as if you were listening to radio from those days when we were growing up.
It's true.
That professional voice.
I mean, he does lives often as well, just from Facebook, where he just goes for a little walk in the park or, by the river or whatever. Or even if he's driving his car. And it sounds like it's a complete production of the booming voice.
I think, Yusuf, you should give us a call.
Call and give us a demonstration.
Yeah, give us a demonstration. And people would know what we're talking about. And Shafkat Parveen, wow, I missed you at Fitzroy House.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Yeah. So, definitely.
She's a great poet. She does wonderful poetry. She really writes.
I mean, I heard about Shafkat a lot, and probably if you would recite something, if you've written something, one of your poetries, because we have one of, Yusuf is there probably.
Here we go. We're getting the phone.
Hello.
Hello. Ershad Esther, how are you?
We are good.
Nice to hear you.
Nice to hear you after a very long time.
It's been a long time.
Yeah,
yes.
and we are back.
I think the last time we saw you was at our wedding.
Yes, absolutely right. So I think one cup of tea or coffee is due.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Long due.
A Deshi style tea.
How is life? Your topic is very good, especially this health thing.
Yeah.
It's very, very important. Anyway, thank you very much for London Urdu Voice.
Oh, definitely.
Poetry is going on. Shafkat is there as well. We keep doing programs.
Great.
Anyway.
So
what's up?
Yusuf, I mean, I would say that thanks to you, it was kind of an inspiration, because in the last 6 months, since you've been doing it, you're very consistent every morning, and you get what's your routine? I see you very early in the morning. I mean, the first thing I see.
Routine, I start my day very early. I start my day 5:30. Usually I wake up and then I do a bit of small yoga, half an hour yoga session. I do it myself, and then I leave without any breakfast. I don't do breakfast. 5 days I do 18 hours intermittent fasting.
Wow.
Which make my life totally change. I'm telling you, I was a breakfast person anyway.
Right.
So, but
with paratha, chicken, and everything.
So many benefits. Especially people who are listening, I must say that.
Yeah.
Please start it with the. I've been doing for the last 1 year, and I've been doing for the last 1 year, and still I'm doing it. So 5 days I'm doing now instead of 7 days. That's a change. That is very important. It change your life. It change your lifestyle. You feel healthy. You feel energetic, and that's how you start your day. You feel fresh. You're no more dependent on any carbohydrates. So you feel good. You're fresh, and then go to the park and walk half an hour, 15-20 minutes, at the Richmond Park, because I'm working construction too.
Yeah.
So my site is there where you live. So what I do, I go park early and do half an hour walk and then go my work.
Wow.
That I do.
I mean, that's why we see sometimes it's just totally a misty morning and you are walking and doing your Facebook Live.
Yeah, exactly.
So I used to wonder, I mean, it's quite early in the mornings. What time do you go to bed?
9 o'clock.
It's a nice routine you have.
I go very early because I have enough time, because I don't watch television. So that's why I'm happy. I don't listen news. Only thing I do, I read books, listen music, enjoy and sleep. That's it.
Wow.
No, it's a nice routine, and
Some
I was wondering.
Some people like it boring, but that's.
No, it's true. To be honest, many people I made a lot of new friends as well. And when I was socializing, at some point, people start asking me, "Okay, so do you go out? Do you socialize and do that? And do you go out for drinks, meet people for drinks and things like that?" I said, "Well, I don't do that." And literally, some people, you could literally see their hearts sank. They're like, "Oh, such a boring person." So people do find it, but the thing is that with time, I think every age has its beauty as well. Since, I mean, we progress towards an age and we have to listen to our body. Things we could have done many years ago,
Yes, you're right.
we can't. And I was talking about, like, you are an Asian, you're from Pakistan, I'm from Bangladesh. We love our food, and our food is,
Oh, yes.
yeah. So when you talked about breakfast, I know, because there had been last few months, I had got into this habit because I push myself quite a lot at the gym, but I felt, okay, since I'm doing it, let's have a little bit of rice, then I want to have my meat and this, that. But then I felt how I would react when I was probably in college or at the uni like 20 years back. Now I cannot. My body reacts in a certain way. And literally every day there was a conversation between me and Esther that, okay, what should we do? There's something I need to get it changed.
What should we take out? Yeah. To the point where we were down to a bare minimum, and then it's
no,
just
you're
that
because
way.
you have to live as you rightly said, whatever your age is. Because I already enjoyed my 20s, I enjoy my 30s, I enjoy my 40s. I'm in 50s now. So what my request is, now the things are changing because you have so many food available, always available, but it's very, what do you call it, very attractive. It attracts you.
Yeah.
And it's easily available.
True.
That is the thing. In the
Uber, Deliveroo, and everything.
You don't even
junk
have to
food is
leave.
easily available.
It's true.
Yeah. So, because the reason is, it depends what's your targets in life. You want to live your... See, no one knows when you will die.
Exactly.
But one thing you know, that you can live a healthy life.
Yeah.
And one can die healthy as well. You don't need to be ill.
It's connected to your mood as well, whether you're feeling angry or sometimes how you're feeling in the day. So sometimes even your food habits can make you depressed to a certain extent.
Big difference, yeah. Because if you are eating so much carbohydrates and these foods, that's create problem. It's not like that the sugar is the problematic. It's basically mostly the carbohydrate has got insulin, and insulin creates a problem. I followed the Dr. Eric Burke in America, and that's how I gained all the knowledge. I went through it. So I think so. The young boys, young girls, it makes because their concentration will increase, and they feel happy, energetic all day. You don't feel tired. Oh, I'm tired. I need to sit down, eat a cup of tea, and you don't need it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, definitely we know that, knowing you as well personally, how energetic you are. And we have seen the changes in you as well. I mean, exterior changes, outward, you lost weight and everything, and how you have become even fitter, and you had always been energetic anyway. But
yeah, energy was never a problem.
Never.
So, Yusuf, we were talking about this radio ready voice. How about we have a nice poetry recitation from you, since people are listening? And
people are listening. My voice is coming right. So let me take it out some. But I can do it in Urdu only.
Yeah, please. That's fine.
That's okay.
Let me see if I can find something. Just 1 minute.
And in the meantime, we have a lot of comments. We'll talk to them too.
For it.
We have a lot of comments coming up. We'll talk to those people as well. Yeah. Durdana Ansari is there as well. She's listening to you.
Durdana is listening as well.
Oh yes. We just
no pressure.
Raised the bar. Raised the bar.
No pressure.
Loads of dua for Durdana. Blessing for her. Let me see if I can read something. What type of poetry you want to listen?
Whatever you want to read out, your favorite or anything that you feel like now. It's up to you.
It's raining outside. Just to give you a hint.
I like Faiz. Because Faiz poetry is basically nazm. Nazm that I can read. और कुछ देर में जब फिर मेरे तन्हा दिल को फिक्र डालेगी कि तन्हाई का क्या चारा करे दर्द आएगा दबे पाँव लिए सुर्ख चराग मुझे एक दर्द धड़कता है कहीं दिल से परे शोलाए दर्द जो पहलू में लपक उठेगा दिल की दीवार पे हर नक्श दमक उठेगा हल्का जुल्फ कहीं गोशाए रुखसार कहीं हिजर का दश्त कहीं गुलशन दीदार कहीं लुत्फ की बात कहीं प्यार का इकरार कहीं दिल से फिर होगी मेरी बात कि ऐ दिल ये जो महबूब बना है तेरी तन्हाई का ये तो मेहमा है घड़ी भर का चला जाएगा इससे कब तेरी मुसीबत का मुदावा होगा मुश्तैल होके अभी उठेंगे वहशी साए ये चला जाएगा, रह जाएंगे बाकी साए, रात भर जिनसे जरा खून खराबा होगा, जंग ठहरी है कोई खेल नहीं है दिल, दुश्मन जान है सभी सारे के सारे कातिल, ये कड़ी रात भी, ये साए भी, तन्हाई भी, दर्द और जंग में कुछ मेल नहीं है दिल, लाओ सुलगाओ कोई जोश गजब का अंगार, तैश की आतिश जर्रार कहाँ है, लाओ वो दहकता हुआ गुलजार कहाँ है, लाओ जिसमें गर्मी भी है, हरकत भी, तवानाई भी, हो ना हो अपने कबीले का भी कोई लश्कर, मुंतजिर होगा अंधेरे की फसीलों के उधर, उनको शोलों के रजिस अपना पता तो देंगे, खैर हम तक वो ना पहुंचे भी सदा तो देंगे, दूर कितनी है अभी सुबह बता तो देंगे, दर्द आएगा दबे पाँव लिए सुर्ख चरा. शुक्रिया.
Wow.
Amazing.
Beautiful. I mean, it's an interesting thing because definitely Esther doesn't understand Urdu, but how you deliver it, your articulation and the drama that you have in your voice.
I'm still learning, listening, learning processes keep going on, and it's funny thing you said, because in last year, 2 years before, I did some audios, and now it's totally different. When I was listening those ones, it's getting better because I'm still learning some words and how to deliver it. It's quite it's a long process. It's not like that you just wake up in the morning and start recording it.
Yeah.
It's a very long process. Just like you guys are doing, all the singers are doing all the riyaz and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. True.
All the practice. It's the same thing.
That sounded beautiful.
Amazing.
Beautiful.
You and Esther look very good, fresh. Glad
Thank
to
you.
see both of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice talking to you. Such a lovely
And
conversation.
Thank you for being the
Nice
first
talking to you.
caller for the
Say
new
my regards
season.
to all your listeners.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yusuf.
Thank you very much.
Take
Thank
care.
you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye. Bye.
Durdana is so cheeky.
Durdana Ansari, Captain Durdana Ansari from the Royal Navy as well. And she is excellent presentation. Thank you. And she said, oh my God, I'm not going to read that.
No,
it's in the comment. I'm not going to repeat. And she said, mashallah. After that, you are very cheeky, by the way. And Neha says, I'm having McDonald's while listening to talk about healthy food. Okay, she doesn't know why you
Shuman is here. Shuman does.
Oh, Shuman is there. Shanto, hi,
Welcome
both nice to
back
see you
us.
back. Thank
Welcome
you.
Back to you.
So definitely Yusuf set the mood with his lovely poetry.
Very nice.
Because in London, it's raining. At the moment, I don't know. It's on and off, on and off. It's drizzling all day. And I had this weekend kind of off. I didn't have to go to work or I had training plans, but that was cancelled due to strike, which finally at the last minute lifted up. But in the meantime, it was done. So funny thing is that how thing can totally change. And when I was thinking about the weekend, I was looking forward to it. But then we always find an alternative plan for that. So when it started drizzling, raining, I literally felt yesterday when I woke up that I would walk around with coffee in my hand. Then I was talking to, in fact, Durdana Ansari is here, so we can mention that, to her. And I was sharing with her the importance of mindfulness and spending time by ourselves sometimes. And also sometimes to recognize, even, I mean, we're just talking in general in terms of when we feel down, how to recognize that feeling as well. Because sometimes we always say that, no, I'm okay. I'm doing good. There's no problem with me. But the thing is, when we go through those ups and downs, I think it's very important that we recognize that. And every one of us who are here in the comment section, who are listening, I'm sure you have been through those moments and you can share with us. And if you share with us how you dealt with it, because sometimes if you don't deal with it, it's like in a small can, you're trying to push things inside, and every time you're canning it, you're putting the lid on top of it, but pushing it down. And there would be a time when it cannot hold anymore, and the lid would just pop out. It would explode because it cannot hold anymore, and you can't even close it. So that's what happens when we bottle up all those feelings and we feel like, okay, I'm okay. I should be okay. I should be positive, and there's nothing negative because negativity kills me. But the thing is that whenever we feel like that, we have to acknowledge, first of all, that feeling that, okay, my feeling is that. Interesting thing is, don't say that I am depressed. Rather than, it's better to practice like, I feel that what I'm feeling, it's connected to some kind of downward spiral, or don't say I am depressed, but you can say the feeling can be related to some kind of sense of or emotion of feeling down, because you don't recognize yourself to be that person, because your brain takes that message from you and it says that, okay, Ershad is depressed, okay, Ershad is upset, Ershad is angry. But rather than saying that, I can say that, yeah, the feeling I have inside me, it can be connected to some kind of anger. Then you find the source, but don't deny it. That's very important. So
it would almost be like a positive affirmation that you are basically a person who is going through something, but you're not the going through something thing.
You're not the thing.
You're the person, but because you could say, I'm crying, but you wouldn't say, I am grief.
Yeah.
So it's almost, you wouldn't say that obviously.
Yeah.
But I remember my mom actually told me once.
Or I'm cry baby.
No, I remember once I was crying over something. I was very young, and it was actually really over nothing. And my mom said, is the crying making it feel any better? Is it handling anything?
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's not. You know. And she said, good. So when has crying actually resolved something? Oh, never. You know? And it was almost like she said, okay, so when you're done, you're getting rid of all the H2O in your body, you'll be dehydrated, you have a headache.
Yeah.
You know, let's go figure
all
out
the
a
salt
solution.
coming out, yeah.
And it was one of those surreal, like, and every time I cried from that point onwards, I remember
that reminds you, right?
I just remember thinking, does the continuation of this emotion actually solve the problem right now? It doesn't. It doesn't mean I don't cry. It just means I solve it much faster.
No, you just don't name yourself to be that feeling.
Yeah.
Rather than you could recognize that, okay, what I'm going through is that, but that's not me. And it's okay to be that. And give myself the time. And Durdana said, you still are very young, Esther.
She's made it her mission to make me laugh.
We are. In fact, I'm reading a very interesting book.
We are young.
I want to share.
I don't think I'm old. I was just referring to when I was like 5.
I was trying to find, oh my God, there's a pile of books here. Well, just...
you want to give me the keyboard?
Yeah.
Let me take that.
So, oops.
Make sure we can just turn off the show.
So, it's a very interesting book that I'm reading at the moment. So, this is called Travels with Epicurus. So, you know, Epicurus, people say that he is more related to, we have this idea for many years, people used to think, he says that hedonistic pleasure is the thing, and when you say that, the word still has the same kind of meaning that when we say Epicurean. So it's not about that. He used to say that live with your present moment, and also he had an idea of minimalistic pleasure. Say, for example, whether you would enjoy or have pleasure from having a big roast and then going through all the details of how you're cooking it, or just a bowl of lentil. So that's what he talked about. And in this book, very interesting thing, because he said the first time he ran out or signed up for dentures or some kind of implantation, you know, in terms of he would have new teeth and everything. So dental implants, basically. Yeah. So he wanted to have those. And his doctor said, look, you can have dentures because you're getting old. He was in his 70s when he wrote that book. And there's some kind of atrophy that's going on. So your jaw is getting smaller. So your teeth needs to be out and you have to have dental implants. So your other option would be to have dentures. But problem is when you're having, say, something sticky like toffee, or you're drinking something or eating something, your denture might fall off. When he heard that, he got so scared and straight away he signed up for that. But then he realized they gave him the schedule that for a whole year at the age of 70, almost gaps of within few months, he has to go for these appointments with his dentist, 6 appointments, and every time he would go through some pain afterwards for weeks, and then he has to live on baby food. So he realized, is it really worth it just to have a young smile and also to save myself the embarrassment that sometime my denture might fall off, is it worth it that I would lose this precious 1 year out of my
healthy lifestyle,
out of my healthy life, and also the time whatever is left with me? Because it's a very interesting concept. People say that always keep going, because nowadays there's a new concept that has come out. Many people probably don't know about slow productivity, because in the last few years or last decade, everyone is talking about productivity, high speed, and you just keep creating. You can't take rest. You have to keep going, running all the time. But now they talk about, there's another interesting book by Oliver Burkeman. It's called 4,000 Weeks. So he said roughly on an average, a human would live for 4,000 weeks. That's what you have. So what would you do? Because every one of us would have this huge to-do list. I always make my to-do list on my iPhone as I'm going sometimes. And sometimes I used to get really bogged down that I have to finish them within a day when I make it. And when I didn't do it, I used to kind of a little bit upset with myself that I failed that day. So that's what he talks about. He said, look, you have only 4,000 weeks on an average if you live like a normal human being without any disease or something, or an accident or something happens to you and you die. That, how would you live that? And this is the time you have. Take it easy, be mindful, and enjoy the things around you. So when I was talking about these books, interestingly, this writer, Daniel Klein, his wife is from Holland as well. So he went to Greece.
What a great guy.
Yeah, what a great guy. So he went to Greece, and his wife always, because people, Dutch people, especially in Holland, they are very efficient. Yeah, I know that. I have an example in my house. A sample from.
Oh my God.
No, I mean,
I think it's the cautious Swiss. The cautious Swiss. The Swiss are very efficient as well. Mm-hmm. So I have to say, this is the cautious Swiss in me as well as the half Dutch.
So when he was in Greece, there had been times he's seen people are taking it easy. They take their moment. They're not really fast.
Hi, I'm Sample.
No, sample in a sense, No, in psychology, because
I know.
the kind of many times I do have to do a lot of research in terms of what I'm studying now. So every time a population, when we take a number of population from the population with a number of people, we call them sample.
Okay.
So I'm just saying.
I'm Sample Alamgir.
Yeah. Anyway, no offense. But when he was in Greece, there had been a time when the train, he was supposed to go to a certain direction. He didn't go. And his wife saw that because he just snoozing at the time. She said, hey, wake up. Look, we are going, I think, the wrong direction, because we saw those 3 people sitting on a bench. They're still sitting there as if they haven't moved. And I think we are going the wrong direction. So he ran to the conductor, who was just sipping at a cup of coffee, very relaxed. And then he said, look, we're from America. And then he started talking. I said, oh, you're from America. So look, do you remember in America, there is this Greek community, and I have my friend, my cousin lives there, and he started chatting as if there's no urgency to the situation. So he said that I was trying to avoid my Dutch wife because they're shooting the breeze, and while she's getting worried that they're going the other direction. And finally, he listened to it after finishing the conversation between him and the conductor. Then he made a contact with the other engineer. There's another train that was incoming in that place, and they stopped, literally. So they saw another train just came and stopped next to their train, which was going the wrong direction. It won't happen here in England or most of the places. I mean, if you're going somewhere, you have to make the time. You be there. You don't stop at a random place. And they literally stopped at a random place. And people jumped out of the train that came for them, literally, that stopped. And there were some apricot trees. And they were just plucking apricots randomly and having a bite. And his wife, the Dutch wife, was looking. They said, oh my God, these people, as if they don't have to go anywhere else and they're not planning anything.
So it was basically 2 trains. He was on the one, should have been on that one. They stopped and then they just got off.
Yeah.
So they could switch around. Meanwhile,
didn't even stop at a station.
Oh my God.
It was at a random place, just next to their train. They just decided to stop. It happened in Greece.
Wow.
So he was saying that in this book, and because it's like it's the subtitle, if you see that, is Meditations from a Greek Island on the Pleasure of Old Age.
Travels with Epicurus.
Yeah.
And who's Epicurus?
He's a Greek philosopher. And I think he was born 8th days after Plato.
Oh, wow.
But it was totally different. I mean, his ideas in life were enjoy the present time and living in the present. And the idea of now was very much present. So that's not me who's depressed. It's
No,
you.
that's her.
Oh,
That's Jordana's answer to when people say, "Are you depressed?" or "She's depressed." That's not me who's depressed. It's you.
oh,
That's a good one. Also, Schumann has said something really nice.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna read it out here. It says, "When any of my children does tantrums and screams or gets upset, Joya always let them do around a quiet corner rather than pacifying them instantly, as she thinks letting them do so means they are letting their negative emotion out for a while, and it makes them calm and end their own." It's true.
and also they ran out of energy.
Yeah.
After
they
screaming
run out
and
of steam.
crying. Yeah.
It's very tiring to be very angry. Oh, nice. Oh, and Jordana is saying, apart from my weird sense of humor, it's fabulous sense of humor. Thank you so much for an extremely inspirational program.
Oh, thank you.
Ershad and Esther. Ershad and Specimen.
And she said, she's your driving force. Jazakallah.
What is Jazakallah?
It means thanks. And, well, I'm not going to explain why do we always use these words when Durdana Ansari and I'm talking. We always say mashallah, jazakallah and everything. So I'm not going to explain this one.
That makes sense.
It's a public conversation.
I understand.
Let's keep it between us.
Okay.
And
It's a nice thing.
yeah, it's a nice thing.
Fabulous.
And Neha said, interesting, Ershad. Okay, Neha Karim wants you to finish that.
Oh, it was about, because I stopped you to explain about the trains.
Oh.
And what it was. So I was just trying to identify, because I remember when you told me the story, I had to really clarify, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, true.
And the point of the story was that people were just taking the moment and using the moment to enjoy life instead of everyone complaining about why are we stopping. They're like, oh,
because can you imagine, here you get compensated in England if your train is delayed.
15 minutes late.
Yeah, 15 minutes late. But there people were literally, because they were going this direction, but the train that's coming from that direction, it literally stopped because the conductor spoken to the engineer or whoever. So they literally stopped at a random place, not even at the station, just to pick these people up from the other train. And no one really was upset. They just literally celebrated that sudden or intermission they had. They just got off the train. They started plucking fruits from the tree. And they're just enjoying. And I felt that, to be honest, first time when I went to Greece. And I saw that. And I fell in love with that place because I've seen people are hardworking. They work from literally 8 o'clock in the morning to 11:30 at night straight. The same people, you go to the shop. And given to the economic situation what they're in. But they are still the same way. They're laughing, talking to you, being nice to you, and very relaxed, It's not too much. So I felt that when I was there in Greece, and I felt that relaxedness, and I felt that comfort. And every time it's one of my favorite places, to be honest. And thanks for enlightening us. Oh, my pleasure. So in terms of, I was asking people what they're doing, and definitely Captain Durdana Ansari, what are you doing? She had been on the podcast. You have seen her interview. Yeah. People should check it if you haven't seen it or listen to it or check it. It was literally my privilege to learn from her and hear her story or listen to her story, what she had done, what she had achieved so far in her life. She was in BBC World Service for 30 years. I think I think it's 30 years if I'm not wrong. I've done the interview, but if I had forgotten.
It's the second interview on Knowing Who You Are.
Yeah.
So the first one was done, so that was the second one we ever did, right?
It was an amazing interview, and these busy people like Durdana Ansari, and also how much they keep on contributing every day to people's lives and in the community as well that she worked for. So I feel that she made the time for the podcast and gave us that interview. It's really nice. And she is coming up with a book we talked about. I'm just saying that when she would tell you the release date because she's working on it. And it's an autobiography because Durdana Ansari is an OBE. So she definitely is the Order of the British Empire. And yeah, for
Here
people.
She is right there.
Yeah.
Oop, there we go.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for joining us. And 60 year. What are you talking about? Years. Oh my God. BBC 60 years?
That's impossible.
How is it possible?
That's impossible.
No. I was I don't know if she's making fun. She has a very interesting sense of humor.
She's got a fantastic sense
Yeah,
of humor.
I can't trust that comment. There must be something else going on. So I'm saying people who are listening or people who are you crazy? I said 30 years. I thought it was 30 years. I was right in saying that. So 60 years, I didn't say that. I said 30 years. So, and I said we
you can almost see that through the TV.
Yeah. And we're like, Captain, can you please confirm that whether it's 30 years or 60 years? But she said, do you think I started working since I was born?
No, that's why we say it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's why we said 60 years.
You're not even 60 years old. You're not even that age.
Yeah. For a young woman to work just for BBC for 60 years.
Minus 30 when you start.
No. So I have listened to her. I sat through one of her interviews, which was, I was engineering that as well. So it was my privilege. I sat through it. How could I call you? Oh my God. Okay. Yes, the number is there on the screen. Let me give you the number. Let's get roasted. It's 07308 192 908.
It's on the screen. On the screen. I'm going to just... Where's the cable? I'm just going to pick up the cable here.
Mm-hmm. So again, it's 07308 192 908. You can give us a call directly. 22 years, see. So I said, I was saying 8 years extra. So you clarify, thank you. That's what I'm saying. So, and after that, she had this organization through which she had educated and helped a lot of women, and in terms of making them independent, and they had set up their own business and they had gained those skills through the organization. And definitely that's, she was knighted. But there are a lot of things I can mention. I'm not going to, because she's going to call. And besides telling me off for, I don't know, I didn't say 60 years, by the way. So you can always explain. I'm trying, it's not allowing me. Oh.
Okay, we're plugged in. We're ready.
Yeah, it's all ready. It's just a normal call. It's 07308 192 908. And in the meantime, people who are listening, who are watching, we'd appreciate if you let us know what have you been doing in the last 6 months and what new things has happened.
We can call her?
Yeah. So we are calling you.
Completed as your account balance
oh,
this is a different.
This is a different number.
Okay,
yeah. Okay.
Fine. We will sort this out.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. I'll keep an eye on this.
Yeah. And we can also do it like this.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
There's one way I can think of. Yeah. We are calling you.
We're calling you.
Yeah. So we are calling directly. Yes. Hello.
There you are.
I just feel, I just, felt like interrupting each and every minute of your program.
Oh, not at all. Not at all.
Loving it. Absolutely loving it. But then I realized that you're not really getting it. My comments as you were talking.
Yeah.
Well, we're seeing the comments. We're seeing the comments as other people are calling, and that's why I'm laughing, because I'm reading what you're saying, and we can't interrupt the conversation to go, oh my God, you're just apply.
Irshad is so serious about his obviously inspirational talks, and here I am trying to interrupt him. So
I think I inspired you too much.
accept my apology.
Oh no, not at all.
No apology needed.
It's a Sunday, and that's what I'm talking about. Taking it easy in life. Don't take anything too serious.
When you were talking about picking all those apricots, I remember, I think it was after I got married at the age of 15, so I was still a child.
Oh my God.
So when I was, 16.
Okay.
So after that, I went to Pakistan to attend my brother's wedding. I think it was brother or my sister's. And we were all supposed to travel by train from Islamabad to Karachi. And that's about literally kind of a 2-day trip. 2 days journey. On the way, somewhere in the middle, and it was a very dark night. It wasn't dark night because it was moonlight, and I love moonlight. Very, very bright, and something came on the track, and the train got stopped. For good Lord, about 2 hours, and we had a whole coupe was booked for the entire family and the friends that we were traveling to. What happened is that we got off on it was a small platform. We can't even remember the name of the village. And we started playing a game. And everyone was literally just, cheering and looking at us and clapping because one team was winning. And one team was losing, and the game was called Ko. Ko was something like, you're sitting just like a musical chair on the ground, on the floor. And one is simply, leaving a dupatta, which is a scarf, on a random person. And this is how it all just went on and on. And we we forgot about the entire journey, our destination, the time. We were just living in that moment. My brother, I remember, went with my sister, took a horse cart, went into a village, some sort of market, and bought some playing cards as well. This is, can you imagine the entire journey, the entire train was completely stopped.
Wow.
No, nothing was worrying us. No, what was happening in the world around us. And that is what, Ershad, when you were saying that we must live in the moment. And this is how I do it. I've got to attend an event I'll be speaking at later on. And I just want these 10 minutes to simply just cherish what you're telling us, try and inhale that, try and enhance that, and try and understand it at the same time, that we are able to, kind of follow it. And that's what, your listeners and people who are, God knows from where they're attending your program right now, is that we must cherish the moment we are living in.
When was the last time did you get to do it? You're so busy. I just want to know the experience that you had, or how the story you just shared with us. It's an amazing thing, and not many people get to do these things because the world we are living in is totally different now.
So fast.
You can't even think about stopping somewhere to random things.
I on and off somehow find those moments. I tell my children as well. I go and speak to my children eye to eye, literally have good contacts with them. And that's when I get really worried when young parents are not speaking to their children. Just for, it doesn't have to be very important talk. You don't say, come on, today we will have 5 o'clock, we will all sit down and talk. No. It is pick up the phone and speak to the person that you really want to say something. Just say, I love you.
Yeah.
That's all you have to say. Or take a Mickey out of someone, like I have been doing it. I couldn't resist the way you were going on. But how important this is, that it's a Sunday.
So bad.
It's raining outside. I mean, person like me, I will go in the rain. I don't care about any weather. I simply, in Urdu we say, Baharo khisa kam nigahon ke behem. Bure ya bhale sab zamane tere. Meaning all weathers, every spring and autumn,
winter,
everything
summer,
lives in your heart. It's how you feel.
Nice.
All those weathers is internally. It's your internal matter. It is how you make it. So yes, I try and do it. I mean, I was at a conference in New York 2 weeks ago, and as soon as that conference finished, it was on a ship, on a largest ship of Great Britain. I got off, and I was invited by the smallest ship, the captain of the smallest ship, at a bay in New York City. So I was very tired after the conference and still wearing uniform, standing in Manhattan and trying to find in the New York City, couldn't find a taxi. So people were stopping me and say, "Wow, how lovely you look," because an Asian woman, in a high rank, people just kind of, I said, "Just tell me, how do I get a taxi?" It was peak hours, so I couldn't get a taxi.
So like you.
The next thing is the police car was there. Imagine the tall American guys, and he just lowered down his window and he said, "Ma'am, are you okay?" I said, "No." And so he said, "What is it?" Everybody started looking at him. I mean, this Asian woman must be in trouble. That's how they see it every now and then.
These days.
Anyway, I said, "Look, can you possibly try and stop a taxi for me?" Well, there was no taxi. I said, "Look, you can't leave me here, can you?" He said, "Yes." He said, "Ma'am, yes, we know that we can't leave you here. What to do?" Next thing is the sergeant came out, another taller man. And he said, he simply picked up his rucksack from the back seat and he opened the door for me. "Ma'am, sit down."
Aww.
And I just looked at him and people were looking, okay, she's now booked. She's now booked and they're taking her in. Trust me, the siren was on, the light was on. And this is when I took the phone from the policeman, and he gave me one of those, for support. So I could call the captain on the ship to say, look, I'm on my way. Sorry, I'm delayed. And they were all laughing at it when I reached there. The officers were saluting me and they were receiving me. And this is where one of the policemen was making a film. And it has become a talk of the town now. I didn't post it anywhere.
Oh,
but
my God.
what I am trying to say, greet people with a smile. Talk to them. Communicate with people around you.
Yeah.
It's a short life.
Yeah.
Do not miss a second.
Yes.
And this is why I'm on this phone right now and I'm boring you.
We appreciate it. What are you talking about? It's like another...
That is this...
Yeah.
See, we always, when
gems
the show
of wisdom.
is finished, we always, after the show, go, you know what? That one call or that one message, that is worth doing this show every single week. And it's true, because there's people listening now, and there's people who are going to watch afterwards, because there's hundreds of people that watch this once the show is finished, because we posted. And so that's super helpful.
No, thank you. Thanks for making the time.
Thank you so much for making out the time.
Absolutely.
And thanks for clarifying that.
To make a difference in people's lives.
Absolutely.
I think you're doing a great job.
And thanks for clarifying you didn't work for BBC for 60 years.
Well, 30 years, 22 years is still a very long time. Then I
Still
worked
very long time.
for the charity for about 8 years, and then now in the Navy. So three
Amazing.
major areas. And just pray for me, everyone. Who
Always,
always.
And I will still not leave my cheeky modes. So
No,
that
please
is
don't,
something
never.
which I can't. Without sense of humor, I cannot survive.
I
And
don't think
anybody who wants to
that's
walk
your
with me, please
signature.
have some
That's
sense
your
of humor.
signature.
Yeah. I cannot. Yes, I cannot drive.
Oh,
Thank you so much indeed for taking
Take
Nice
care,
talking
huh?
to you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh my God, we are so
Yeah.
lucky to have her in our lives, huh?
Such a lovely conversation. And also, if you haven't seen that interview that I've done with her, that was a lovely interview, what she was talking today. You just heard a little bit of glimpse of that, but normally she has such wealth of experience in her life. So she had been sharing it on that show that we have done the interview.
Yeah.
So I think it's worth checking again if you haven't.
Yeah.
So please do so.
Yeah.
And other people who are listening to us, we'd like to know who else is there, and is there any other information. I said that you can update us with anything that you're doing in the meantime. So I was talking about these ideas in the last 6 months since I got busier. Okay, the show I didn't do, but there's one thing that happened amazingly, which was that I picked up on my reading habit, because I've been reading always, but not as regularly as I would like to, because there are other things that I've been doing. But last 6 months, what happened, I really got into reading. Like before going to bed, I do reading anytime during the day. So I keep some books in my studio, some in my study where I study, which I have stolen from Esther. That her favorite table, which I have taken in the other room, because this was supposed to be my room where I do all my things, including my studies. But Esther loves to have me around when she's there, so she had happily sacrificed
my reading desk.
reading
But
desk.
I have taken over the entire rest of the living room with all my computers and all my books and everything else. So the dining table is now my desk.
So when
so
when I read, I think one thing that I do, I read quite a lot of different things at the same time. I read fiction. I'm halfway through a fiction. It's a beautiful book by Claire Kagan. And then this one I'm reading is about, it's more the globotics.
Robotics upheaval.
So it's about globalization and robotics. There's this interesting book. It's about leadership, The Habit of Excellence. So this one, Why British Army Leadership Works. So very interesting, and it's written by Lieutenant Colonel Langley Sharp, MBE. So it's an amazing book on leadership, I would say. This is more about neuroplasticity, my favorite subject, and natural born learners, how incredible capacity to learn and how we can harness it. So how many people say that, okay, there is a certain age after that you cannot learn anything new. So it proves, it's a scientific proof that you can. And that's what I always talk about neuroplasticity. This is a book by Sunil Gupta, Backable. So as you see, always my bookmarks are there. So everywhere there's a bookmark because I'm going through, I read like 8-9 books at the same time. So this is by Sunil Gupta. So Sunil Gupta is, if you watch CNN, Sanjay Gupta, he's a neurosurgeon, but at the same time he is Emmy award-winning reporter as well. So his brother. But at the same time, Sanjay Gupta and Sunil Gupta both are Henry Ford's Ford company, the motor company. Their first female engineer, Hingo Rani, Mrs. Hingo Rani, her sons, Sunil Gupta and Sanjay Gupta. Beautiful book. So it talks about how you can make yourself resistible that people would like to back you up. I'll get back to it. We have a caller.
We have a caller, an unknown caller.
Hello.
Hi, Ershad, it's Shanto.
Oh, Shumon there. Shanto,
nice.
how are you?
Hello, nice to hear
Hi,
you.
Esther. Nice to see you both again back.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. It's our pleasure and nice to talk to you. So what's happening in your life at the moment?
It's happening too many things.
Great.
Busy and stressed. Too many things.
So too many things when you say, because I knew last time, it was 6 months back when we were talking, you said that you're moving to a new place, but ever since...
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did end of June.
Oh, wow.
And joined in a new position in the job, the new training,
Good.
new pressure.
Definitely.
Yeah. And do
How
you
about yourself, Ershad? It's great to know that you have started your neuroscience. What a dynamic life you are.
Yeah,
you are really a true inspiration for many of us. You know that.
I mean, that's what I feel like. Until we find what we really want, we shouldn't stop learning. And it's an important thing. The moment people stop learning, that's the time. It's like you let ego hit you. That, okay, I have achieved what I wanted to be and I'm ready, I'm the man. So I think it's better to be a student in life. I mean, be at a university, you can't be always at a university, but in life, stay a student, I think is important. So keep learning.
No, but I'm really surprised and really, we discussed about you, that you have passion. You are a law student, then you learned law, you are passionate about your music. Now you are in Navy, and you started neuroscience. We had a short discussion over the phone, but it's really amazing, Ershad. How come you keep so much patience?
Now, I love learning. That's my thing. As I was sharing this, even when I read from fiction to non-fiction, psychology, philosophy, whatever. I feel like it's very important to learn, and also by learning, we can change ourselves as well. I mean, not everyone is perfect, and I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm trying every day. So I feel like it's very important that that's how we keep ourselves grounded as well, to a certain extent, that you can see your flaws when you keep learning. And say, for example, now I'm studying with other people from different countries, from America, all over Europe, and from Africa, a lot of people from different countries. So I see those people and their thought process and their knowledge. Sometimes I feel humbled, but there are certain areas they're so knowledgeable.
Definitely. But main thing is that you need to find interest. So I'm really surprised how come you find interest in so many things. That is really surprising. And really is very good, Ershad.
Thank you.
You're really true inspiration for some
Shanto, it's really very kind of you. I think from my childhood I had this. I always wanted to learn, and I had a passion. I wanted to, and I feel like when you want to do something, I want to do something for people in general, to be honest. And I feel it's very important when you want to be someone or do something for people. Be someone, I don't mean like being an engineer, doctor or something. I'm saying that when you want to set an example for people or help them out, it's a great responsibility. It's not like winning an election and you're in the parliament and you're helping people. when you try to become a leader, when you're not leader, when I say that, I'm not trying to say I'm their boss, but it's more about when you're showing path to people, it's very important that you have been through it, you have been through the failures, you have been through the learning process as well. So the plan I have going forward with podcast as well, with this podcast, we are trying to discuss things. That's why I feel like it's very important that I keep on learning constantly. So yeah, finding something bigger than myself, you know.
Carry on, Ershad, and it's always good to talk to you both, and good wishes, and we're listening your discussions, very important, and a very interesting topic today.
Thank you, Shanto. Thank you.
Thank you for your call again.
So any message for people, since you are going through a lot of hectic schedule yourself, and how you're managing your family, because you're connected to your kids, your wife, and you are a very nice man in your own, I know you for a long time. So how do you manage, how do you keep a balance yourself? You share with people, please.
Well, I cannot, most of the time I cannot keep balance. My life partner, she is managing everything. I just try to keep a little bit aloof, but she's managing by herself and with the children, but I'm trying to adjust. But all credit goes to her for the family maintenance.
The best wishes to her, and congratulations as well, because she's doing a great job.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, she is.
You're part of our original Knowing Who You Are team, right? From the beginning. You've always been there, which has been really nice for your support as well. Truly.
Thank you. You take care and
too,
carry on.
Thank you,
for your
Shimon.
call. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care. Bye.
Oh, super sweet.
And
lovely message from Sherry, actually.
Yeah.
She said, allowing yourself to be vulnerable to change will allow you to learn. Keep it up, guys. Great message. Keep being the inspiration that you are to your peers. Practice makes progress. No such thing as perfection.
Very true.
Very true. And Neha also said, keep learning. Every aspect of life is awesome. Very true.
That's very true.
Very nice.
I mean, failures, and also when you go through some bad patches and bad experiences, and even negative feelings, as I was talking about, it's important that we go through it. I mean, until and unless you go through it and you don't have any knowledge about what it feels like to be in that moment, or when you're going through such an emotion and you're working through it, I feel that it's a loss, in a sense that then you are losing one big chunk of the wisdom that is out there for us to learn from. So it's very important. And thanks, Sherry. Sherry, I don't know, she's probably in Australia at the moment.
She was in France last.
Yeah, she was in England as well for a while. And we've been planning to have this interview with us for a while, which didn't happen. Well, it's my fault to a certain extent, because I have been away for nearly 6 months.
You've been busy.
Yeah, away means away from the podcast.
Yes, absolutely.
But as I was saying, that it's a responsibility that I feel, something that we started. It's not about trying to be, as I always mention, because I had been on television for nearly 20 years, but it's not about me being something or having a celebrity status or anything through the podcast or anything. It's more about what I have seen that people need. And also, at some point in my life, I have been through certain situations when I felt it, be it work, be it personal life, be it relationships, be it family members, be it friends, I learned a lot of things where I felt there are things I needed to change myself, rather than saying that this person is not right, that manager wasn't good to me. You can't blame people. The choice is yours all the time. And what I had learned from that, what lessons I'd taken from, and how I tried to transform my choices from that point onwards, I wanted to share that. And I felt, I look around, many friends and families, no one is, I mean, I'm not perfect. As I said, I'm repeating myself. But I feel that since there are things I've seen and things I realize, sometimes we don't. We don't acknowledge those things, and we keep going. We feel like if we keep going, we don't stop, go through the motion, probably things will be okay. But problem is that it's almost like how I look at it. Say, for example, you're running through the mud and you feel like, okay, I'll keep running. And there would be a point when it's dry and you'll come out on the other side. Okay, it would stop. But sometimes if it's muddy all the road and you're just getting dirtier, and there would be a point, even when you come out, all the dirt is on you. So the thing is, it's better to know which path to choose, and also the choices we make, and it's better to stop us earlier when we make those decisions, because sometimes I see people, there are people I see every day, probably even in social media, among my friends. I feel we are probably running a bit too fast at times, and thinking that this is what would just making us visible everywhere would make us, I don't know what the goal is. But at what cost? Are you spending enough time with your friends? Are you being a good listener? Say, for example, if I'm doing all the things I'm doing that Shumon said, the other day I would like to share a story with them, between me and Esther, what happened. Because most of the time it happens. I talk about being a good listener. It's a very important thing. And it's a thing that we should practice, everyone. Every one of us should practice. Because it brings mindfulness and things you're listening, because that person has something to share, especially when it's relationship between two people. It's very important. So there had been times when, since I have this chock-a-block schedule, there are times when I'm tired, then I sit down, I try to regain my strength, then say, I want to go for the next thing. And Esther is trying to share something with me during that time. And I'm looking at my watch, and I'm also thinking, oh my God, I have to get it done in the next hour. Otherwise, I won't have time for the next thing after that. So when she's talking, there had been a moment when I talk over her. I'm the one who's talking about listening, but then she's saying something. I'm like, okay, I know what she's going to say after that, because we probably had that conversation quite a lot. So I know where she's going. And then, so since I know, I can just finish the conversation rather than she prolong the conversation any further. I cut her off. I talk over her. It happened recently as well, when I literally said sorry, because I felt we have to live the life we preach as well. It's a good thing. And if it's just words. It's almost like how many books you read, how many books on personal development you read. If you don't apply it, or if you don't learn even a single thing from that, you don't have to apply everything in one go. Just do one thing at a time, whatever. Say, for example, if that's the thing you want to do, just listen to the person, whoever that is. It could be your wife, your partner, your friend, but someone is sharing something with you and they feel that they can rely on you. So if you don't listen, at least stop them. Probably it's better that you tell them, can I catch up on this one? Probably when I have more time, when I can be more mindful and give you that time. Unfortunately, I don't have it. But I've seen it many times when literally someone is trying to say, because there had been people I've seen, and I get to see them, I know them as well very closely. When you're telling them something, because their mind is racing probably 100 miles an hour, they would literally say, oh, okay, yeah. So next thing, we're going to do this. And you had said something, they didn't even acknowledge, they don't even know.
Yeah.
What's the point of that kind of productivity, or that kind of fast-paced productivity, I would say, when you're not mindful about your surroundings and you're not thinking at all? So this is one of the points. And so on that day, when me and Esther, and I was talking over her, I said, I'm sorry. I should come down and I should listen. She didn't say anything. But I realized, so this is an important thing. When you are mindful, bring your mindfulness, and you see the things where you're making the mistake. And you can say that, and acknowledge it. Because this is a lesson for yourself. No one can teach you. She could have said, okay, I'm trying to talk to you. You're not listening to me. Listen to me. It's nice of you. You didn't say that. But then she acknowledged, I wanted to share that with you. I said, look, I felt that. I know what you're going to say. But that's even wrong. You never know what's the next piece of information or wisdom that's coming your way. You're denying it. You're stopping her. I know what you're saying. So this is another thing. So always separate yourself from the ego. As I was saying, that staying a student of life is very important. Sorry, I've been talking.
No, that's totally fine. Sherry actually made a really nice addition to what you're saying in harmony with that, actually, she said, first of all, she's in London. But she said here, self-care, my friends, pause. The most important thing for yourself and your loved ones is the ability to pause. And then she later says, while you're talking about listening, the difference between listening, active listening, and hearing, good learning, great message. And it's true, because more often than not, you find you're saying something, and you can see when someone's listening, they're just listening. But when someone is not actually, they want to have the mic, as it were. It's like you can see the,
Yeah.
And I
the
sometimes
tension.
did that. I've done it in the past as well, where I remember being like, oh, I want to contribute to what you're saying. I want to basically tell you, yes, I already know this. Yes, I have already blah, blah, blah. And I used to sometimes go like, you've already said that, or something like that. And you let me say that, and then you pointed out, and then we discussed this. And that is actually I think the beauty of the relationship also, is that we are so transparent.
And this is an interesting point you brought that I can add to that. Because when you are listening to someone, we sometimes cannot resist the temptation that I want to add my story to it. Yeah. That's exactly what happened to me, and that's what I want to share. And that's the problem. We close that conversation straight away, and straight away that person, we just shut the door for them, because when they're sharing, they're opening up to you, and when you're just blocking the way of a flow that's happening with something else, then either you diverted it, or either you just close the gate, that it's not coming your way anymore. So I think when we practice listening, it's very important. It happens sometimes. I still go through it. I do acknowledge it. And whenever it happens, even with people when I'm talking, there are times, it happened with me, with one person probably now, so far, I can't even count, like twice or three times. That person came to me and sharing something. It's something interesting that we both are interested about. I'm not going to name names here, not share the proper story. But because we are both sharing the same interest, every time he shares with me something, I'm like, you know what? That's what happened with me. And I would have to share that. And after the conversation, every time I'm like, oh my God, he wanted to share something, and he chose me to share that with me. And he trusted me with that. And I just took the opportunity from him. I deprived him of that opportunity. Oh. So, I feel okay. When would you stop, Ershad, trying to be that enthusiastic all the time of sharing your thing as well? Yeah. So this is a very important thing, I feel, in life. And we complain in relationships that person is not listening to me. That person is always like that. So do we hear that always? That's the thing. I have been guilty of this too. It's not about relationships only, at work as well. Yeah, sure. That, oh my God, this manager is like that. And people say that you don't leave your work, you leave your managers. So, but okay, that person has acted in a certain way. What have you done? Or how you can correct it? And where you are wrong? Or what are your options? If you can't change a situation, your option is always to detach yourself from a situation or leave the job, find something new that would be good to your well-being, or that would bring some, I would say, some healthy practices, and also your mental health will be improved. We all have been through it. So I feel what Sherry was saying, that hearing and listening, these two, it's very important to distinguish these two things, because you can hear me now. Everyone can hear me because it's a sound that's coming up or coming out. So most of the times I've seen people I mentioned that for them, you end up being a sound or a noise or a background noise. Like, I'm talking to this person and he looks at me, but he is thinking about something else. He needs to go somewhere. Or there had been a situation where I was sitting, there was this person who's sitting, but a third person is trying to talk to this person, and I was just watching them. So while the third person is trying to talk, this person I'm talking about, he didn't even listen. He said, okay, we need to get out. And I feel it's, first of all, it's humiliating. You're insulting someone who's trying to share something with you. And if you don't have the time, let them know. Just tell them, I'm going to get back to it, and just acknowledge at least and tell them. If you don't have the time, understandable. There are times, but that's another lesson that we have to learn to say no. When you can't do it, you can't do it. Yeah. Because I think there had been times with you in few, like last year probably, you've been through certain things where you said you couldn't say no to people, but you got stuck as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But we've even had it a few times, which was really interesting, where I remember a number of times where you were either about to go to the gym or about to go to work, and then I remember that there's something that I need to tell you because I'm worried I'm going to forget about it, and it's normally quite important. And the thing is, yes, you didn't have the time, which you made clear in a nice way, but it's also, because now is the other side of the coin. If you're always talking and you feel that people are never listening to you, then there's something possibly about your communication that's also not right. And
it's a timing
case,
problem.
In my case, it was like I was always about to impart something that would require an important decision right as you're walking out the door.
That's why I'm smiling. Because every time, whenever I'm getting ready to go to work...
It's like, oh, we have this form that we have to fill out. That's blah, blah, blah.
No, we have to make a decision about our summer vacation or a traveling plan, which tickets to buy or what date. But I literally have 5 minutes, and within these 5 minutes, I have to get out to catch the train or something. So that's something. And one day I told her, can we remember something? Whenever we have this discussion, don't leave it for that last 5 minutes when I'm walking out of the door.
It's so funny. And so that's why I'm saying, well, it's really important and amazing. And so many times you are a great listener, because you are.
I try.
But there is times where I, as a communicator, have also made the mistake. And I think it comes both ways. And I found that at work as well, when I remember with my team, a large team under me, and I'm talking, and I can see they're just not interested. And so it goes to like, all right, guys, so what's happening here? What's happening with the room? Like, it feels a bit like, is there a problem, you know? And bring it up, and then you sort it out. And it's
so
fine,
I think
right?
even before opening up something, it's better when you're talking to someone. Sometimes it's a lesson for the other person. Say, for example, listening is one thing, but when someone is trying to share with you, say you are not the listener now, you're trying to share something with someone else. And rather than getting offended, first of all, it's better to, do you have like 2 minutes for me or 3 minutes for me? I have to discuss something with you. So you gave that person that option where they can say, unfortunately, I don't have, I have to rush out, or I don't have that time. So there's nothing, you don't feel bad that I started talking and he didn't listen to me or she didn't listen to me. So that's a good thing. Timing and asking for, just create that space for that conversation is very important. And definitely, and I would say most of the problems that happen at work, among friends, between partners, I think it comes from not listening to each other. Sometimes everyone is saying something, say someone is hurting. What the problem is, they're explaining to you even through their communication. But if you're not listening to their communication even, that's a problem. That you're not seeing where they're hurting. So that's very important.
Well, Sherry actually made a comment earlier, but that also applies to this. She says, pause. The most important thing for yourself and your loved one is the ability to pause. Now, back then we were talking about making time for yourself. But in this case, if someone has something to say, then also make the time, or make sure that person has the time. It's interesting. It really does go both ways, isn't it? It really does. Fascinating.
A good point that you brought it up. See how it works. I mean, I gave a point, then you open up that idea, but then it helps me if I'm listening to you.
But I get to that point because I was listening to what you were saying. It does go both ways.
Exactly.
But it's fun.
And I've learned this from you at a very early stage of a relationship, that you are a good listener. So credit goes to you. I've learned a lot.
Go team.
Neha says it happens with every busy person, I guess. You're right to let the person know when you're ready to listen. Exactly.
And when you're not, that can happen. There's been times where you need to study, and when he's trying to concentrate on something, and I'll be like, oh, and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And after a while, I'm realizing he's actually trying to read. No,
it's important to respect every person's personal space and their time. Because I do it with Esther too. Like, there are times when I give her the chance. Say, for example, if I come up with a plan, hey, look, we are going and we are doing this, we are doing that, right? And I can do that, and probably I've done it here and there sometimes. Probably I came up with a plan and said, hey, we are going there. And you're like, okay. And you went with me. You didn't say. Yeah. But now, how I do it, I say, look, I'm planning this one, or I want to do this live stream on Sunday at 3:00. Would you join? Would you be able to join? So you can say yes, you can say no. You have an option. And since I already opened the door, when you open the door, be clear that you are ready for two options, yes and no. When you're opening the door, asking, waiting to hear yes, then you get hurt again. So you are asking, say I'm asking Esther a question, would you do a live stream on Sunday at 3 o'clock? And I'm thinking inside, Esther would say yes. If she says no, then you would get hurt. I would get hurt because she refused me. But if I had known when I asked her the question, there are two way it can go. One, she could say yes or she could say no because she has a reason, she has other commitments or other arrangement or other plans. Then I'm fine. Yeah. Then you should be ready with your alternative plan as well. Yeah. When she says no, what are you going to do? Yeah. Ershad, you captured the whole frame yourself and you talk here on your own, missing your wife. So
I did say to him, when there's going to be some lives that you'll have to do by yourself, but I'll be in the living room next door and I'll watch you.
No, so we have an agreement. So there's okay. No hard feelings.
Yeah, and you're not stopped either.
Yeah.
Because there's a number of times where you could have done lives and you kindly didn't because I wasn't available. But now,
I felt that it's a teamwork, and if I don't do it, if I would end up making you feel bad, even though I do the interviews on my own, but the thing is, the live stream we started together. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So cool. It's very important, very interesting conversation. I'm liking it, and people are joining. Thanks for that. And Anuradha says, no one is perfect. Everyone has their own gifts, their own limitations, but as long as we are learning and evolving for the better, that's most important.
Very true.
That's true.
It's nice.
I mean, it's about being humble and keeping your ego separate.
Yeah.
Because there had been times. It's which book is that? I forgot. Because I just take the wisdom. I forget the books where I got that message from. So it was about Matt Damon, and there's another rapper. So this guy who wrote this book. So he was at an event and he met this rapper. This rapper, you're not supposed to talk to this rapper directly. You can't talk to him. So you have to go through security and then they will make sure that you can talk to him or not. And he would say yes or no. So he, during that event, and he went to the rapper directly. He didn't realize that he had to go through via channels.
This
and
is Matt Damon?
No.
Oh.
I mean, he gave an example of Matt Damon, the difference between Matt Damon and the rapper. Sorry, I should have clarified. Okay. So the first he started with the story of the rapper. So this rapper, he went up to him and said, do you need another drink? The rapper gave him a look. Didn't even acknowledge, didn't even say something. He said, I'm not going to name any names here because I don't want to shame him for that. But the thing is, I realized how insecure he is, and he's trying to protect it through all this artificial barrier around the people that love him. He said that after that conversation I had with him, or the conversation I didn't have with him because he didn't even acknowledge, I didn't really enjoy his music. This concert I was waiting for, I didn't really like his music anymore. Same thing with Matt Damon. His experience he shared, he said after the show that finished, and it was like in a tavern or some kind of bar or somewhere, he said the promoter and myself, we sat down and talked to him for 3 hours.
Wow.
And as if he definitely, Matt Damon knows how big he is, what a great star he is, but he didn't have that consciousness because he is quite secure in his position and what he has achieved. And they met him the next day in the same venue because it was a series of events that they were doing. He was the same guy, nothing changed. It's not that suddenly one day he was feeling good. He said every day he's the same person. Yeah. So it's very important. I feel that in life, and I mentioned this one about the late Ayub Bachchu from Bangladesh, the musician who passed away, one of the greatest guitarists of Asia. So this guy, I have seen him, I've been with him in many concerts where he literally acknowledged people from random viewers, audience members. They would just come up to him and literally would sometimes hold him and say, okay, I want to take a selfie. He didn't react. He said, okay, do you want to come close? And there's someone else probably a little scared to come to him and ask for that opportunity. He'll say, come over here, come to me. You want a picture? I know, come here. Hey, take this picture. Where's your camera? And he would make this thing. Because it's very important to realize, first of all, as I was saying, that if we keep our ego and we feel that we have learned and we are ready, we are someone, we have reached somewhere, that's the ending of your life to be honest, in a sense that because you stop learning from other people and you lose the connection from your surroundings. I mean, that's very important. So
wow,
it's
that's great. Great Sunday message.
I mean, there are a lot of messages. I'm loving this conversation today because such amazing people are there. Yusuf shared something very nice to start with. Then Durdana came. She's always amazing whenever she opens her mouth. And she is a broadcaster for 22 years, not 60 years, mind you. So, and then Sherry said, Sherry had this amazing wisdom always she shares. Let me see what happened here. Oh,
they just because the mouse moved over.
Yeah. Sherry said, keep going. You two must be off now. Catch you next time. Thank you, Sherry. Thanks for being with us. Very true. I was witnessed. Yeah. Neha had known Ayubatu very closely as well. She knows. And Ebi was one of the most humble artists I've ever known. I respected even the single dust on the road. Wow. Very sweet of you. Loved him. I knew him personally too. Yeah, exactly. So if you had known him personally, definitely you know what a great human being he was.
I've just seen pictures of you guys with him, and it's amazing. And then when I had no idea how big of a deal he was until we went to Bangladesh. We did the whole statue for him and all the stuff that we saw in the news. But it was because only I saw your photos where I was like, oh, who's this guy? And you were like, oh, he's an amazing singer and blah blah blah. And it was like afterwards, I was like, Jesus, you knew this guy. Yeah. Amazing, huh?
No, I mean, I got to know him so closely, and there are many things he shared. And that's when I realized that person of his stature and the kind of humbleness he had, and that made him what he was. Yeah. To be in that position for that many years, and he had struggled himself and he had learned, but he never forgot.
Right.
So it's very important.
Wow.
Okay, so lovely conversation, people. It was nice to get back and start on this high note, I would say. It was really amazing. I feel like probably we should wrap it up for today. So we can start planning our Sunday. I mean, it's not ending. I'll start so many things now after this. And so will Esther.
The day has just begun.
The day just begun. So thankfully, I have another day of tomorrow. So I'll just make use of these things and all those extra time I'm getting this week. So hopefully, see you all very soon. As I'm saying, I made this announcement that it will be normally, the schedule would be fortnightly. So it won't be next Sunday. It would be Sunday after. But during the week, anytime I feel like there's something I want to share with, I want to do a live stream, which would be an extra live stream. And I will make an announcement the day before or 2 days before, like I did for this one. So we'll definitely see you next Sunday. Definitely if Esther does not have any other plans, she will join. But if not, then it will be me. But at the same time, so it will be not next Sunday, Sunday after at 3:00. So in the meantime, everyone, keep well and doing what you're doing, and keep achieving the things that you want to do in your life. And in the meantime, Esther, if you could leave some parting notes for people.
Oh.
You want to say something to them? Something?
Sorry,
No?
You just caught me off guard. I was about to press it. No, not really. I think we did. It was a nice Sunday, and I think, like I said, we normally after the show is finished, we reflect on what happened in the show and what the different thing is. And it's amazing to me that every single time we do it, there is some gem of information or a gem of knowledge that we get. And the amazing thing is that we're doing this for everyone else, but we get enriched every single time we do it. So this is
one of the reasons as well.
Cool.
Connection with people, learning ourselves from other people's experiences, and through you and this conversation we are having, many people who are listening or would listen to it later on, they learn few things or they think about certain things. That's the idea of the podcast. But going forward, knowing who you are, I want to create this platform for other amazing life coaches, mindset coaches, people who are creating those amazing things. I know many people, we are meeting people every day, and I'm in touch with many. So what they can do, they can, bring those changes in your life. So you will have options of seeking that help from a pool of expert people who can help you from different angle. So this is my plan, and hopefully I get there. And knowing who you are in the meantime, We are creating this platform for those people. And in the meantime, for yourselves, for myself, for Esther, for ourselves, so we can share these ideas with you at the same time we learn. So on this enriched notes, I would say that I would leave you today. So have a great rest of the evening, and we see you in a fortnight. Take care.
Thank you.